Previously, a rich man called Kinji is summoned into an unknown world where he is instantly sent to work in the mines. He hates his new life but finds a way to make it pretty much awesome. He meets new friends, a muscular creature called Wannabe, a shape-shifting dragon Rin, and a skilled fighter Shia. Together they work against the mining company and create a business on their own. One day the mining company leaders send a very powerful Majin to kill Shia, but Kinji has a plan how to deal with it, but that plan involves using Shia as a bait. Kinji reprimands her once more, stating how the company is only using her, and she is free to make her own decisions on what to do. Shia finally snaps out of it, and heeding Kinji's words, she engages the Majin, this time not fighting for the company's ideals, but her own. The damage she inflicts to the Majin is not enough to kill it, so Kinji taunts it, making it lash out at him. Just as it is about to devour Kinji, Rim shows up declaring how Kinji is her food and no one else can eat him. She immediately bites off the Majin's head, killing it on the spot. Kinji thanks Rim, saying how worried he was for a moment there. Rim tells him that the Majin was incomplete because she left the dungeon and it was calling for help. Unsure as to what she means, Kinji offers to feed her whatever she wants as a reward. But before they can go, a red glowing orb opens a hole underneath them, dropping Rim and Kinji into the depths. Kinji recognizes it as the same thing that dropped him into this world. After having a nightmare about being attacked by Rim back in our world, Kinji wakes up to find himself together with Rim in a strange place. There he is greeted by a strange girl who asks him to save their world. Kinji asks her where his other friends are, but she does not know how to answer him. Per Kinji's command, Rim breaks open a wall in the room, revealing the scenery of a futuristic underground city. An old man named Zazel comes in. He introduces the girl as the priestess Ranga, telling them that he is in charge of the town they are now in called Marcia. Zazel explains how a demon lord got in charge of a company in the past, and that company weakened humanity, pushing them into slavery. With humanity defeated, they escaped into this shelter below ground where they spent 300 years. With their resources dwindling, their only hope was to summon someone capable of saving them by using a magical gate they found. Kinji refuses to help at first, but hearing that facing the demon lord might help him return back to our world, he decides to play along. Ranga joins Kinji and Rim on their quest to face the demon lord, but as she gets clingy with Kinji, he realizes that she is in fact a guy. Ranga explains that the role of the priestess was usually given to girls, but he was the only one with magical powers that was born, so it was given to him instead. He decided to fulfill the role of the priestess even though he is a guy. After leaving the underground shelter, Kinji is shocked to learn that he is not in fact on another world but on Emuria in the future. According to Ranga's knowledge of history, once someone named Belza took over the company, things went south for humanity. Ranga leads them towards the place he thinks is the demon lord's castle, but it turns out to be the General Ant's town. While Rim is rampaging around trying to find some food, Kinji and Ranga get captured. Upon being brought in front of the Ant General, the ant turns out to be one of the ants that Kinji worked with in the past. In fact, the ant remembers those days fondly as he improved their living and working standards. The monster ant sets them free and brings Kinji up to date with what happened in the meanwhile. He mentions to Kinji that the humans he is ruling over are only complaining and refuse to work, despite the fact that he did everything as Kinji taught them in the past, treating everyone fairly. Kinji decides to help him out, coming up with a solution to increase the humans' motivation and productivity. By doing so, he joins the Demon Lord's ranks. Afterwards, he returns back to Marcia with monsters in tow, forcing his rule over the humans there as well. Rue, Power, and Zetch, three members of the Demon Lord's company, also known as the Three Ravens, are concerned about their positions, as Kinji suddenly showed up and began outperforming all of them. In order to put him in his place, the three of them come up with ideas how to undermine his progress and turn him into a corporate grunt. Despite what they came up with, they are unable to put a stop to Kinji's success. If anything, their sabotage efforts have only made him rise even higher. Kinji also became aware of their plot, so he sends them a very condescending message, making fun of them and thanking them for their help. With no other options left, the three Ravens put airheads together and decide to have Kinji deal with an impossible mission. Ranga appears to wake up in an Alice in the Wonderland-themed dream. The dream quickly turns into a nightmare as Ranga's past begins to haunt him, revealing that he is in fact related to Belza, the one who took control of the company and practically ruined the world. Thanks to that, he was forced to keep running away from people that blamed him for everything, eventually ending up in Marcia, where he took the role of the priestess in order to hide from his true past. Suddenly, Kinji breaks him out of the nightmare with a headbutt. It turns out that Ranga fell into a deep slumber after a massive robot shot him with a strange beam. The robot happened to be the reason why the mission they were assigned to was deemed impossible. But thanks to Rim, they broke the robot and successfully completed yet another task. Kinji's attitude cheers Ranga up, giving him some self-confidence. Finally, thanks to their outstanding work, Kinji, Rim, and Ranga are granted audience with the Demon Lord. Upon meeting the Demon Lord, they are shocked to see she looks almost identical to Rim. It turns out that she is in fact her sister. To explain herself, she shows them her true form, which is that of the imagined monster that they thought Rim had killed in the past, elaborating that an ancient civilization which lived on this world created magic power, and in order to ensure that the world thrives, the circulation of magic must happen. This process is managed by the Guardians. In addition to that, they guard the dungeons, preventing humans from reaching dangerous artifacts of the ancient civilization deep within. Rim is one such guardian, but after she left the dungeon to follow Kinji, the dungeon rushed to replace her by creating a new Majin. Just as Kinji asks her about a way to return to our world, a fleet of flying ships appears in the skies above them, breaking open the Demon Lord's castle. Those belong to the company that exploited the dungeon where they used to be. Majin tells them that after Rim defeated her, Belza took the chance to reach the deepest parts of the dungeon. There she acquired ancient technology and power. Using it, Belza began turning the workers into literal corporate drones with no will of their own. Not satisfied with that, she continued to drain the magic from the world, which pushed it towards inevitable destruction. To prevent that, Majin left the dungeon and attacked the company, but at that point they were already too advanced, so they retreated into a rift between dimensions where they gathered their strength until now. The technology they acquired allows them to revive endlessly, and every time they do so, they just come back stronger. That is the reason she summoned them through time, requesting from Kinji to put a stop to the company in the past, as she believes that he is the most promising one to accomplish such a task. While the company's forces are slowly breaking through Majin's barrier, she opens 2 portals for Kinji and his party, letting Kinji choose what he wants to do, as one leads back to our world, while the other leads into the past of this world. Kinji thinks out loud, explaining his choice to everyone present. While returning back to our world is what he wants, he does not want the company that treated him like trash to get a win. More so than returning home, he wants to make them pay for putting him down. In present time, Wannabe and Shia are struggling to meet the new quotas set up by the company, pushing their limits in the dungeon. Just as Shia is about to be struck by a monster, Kinji, Rim, and Ranga appear saving the day. After returning to the surface, Kinji has a meeting with Belza. She informs him about the fees he will be subjected to due to the fact that he went missing in the dungeon, but Kinji brushes it all off, saying how he will pay those back with ease. Since his place was repurposed, Kinji brings Wannabe, Rim, and Ranga to freeload at Shia's place. Although she is not pleased about it, she lets him do as he wants. Kinji then tells Shia and Wannabe what happened when they went missing, introducing Ranga and explaining how this world will end if they do not do something about it, revealing that his plan involves him overtaking Belza in the race towards the technology hidden in the dungeon, which will ensure him being the one to dominate the world and not the company. Unfortunately, he learns that the dungeon changed after they went missing, and with the monsters from lower levels becoming even more powerful. To ensure that Kinji does not die while exploring the dungeon, Shia takes it upon herself to train him and Wannabe as hard as she can. During the training, she explains how everyone uses magic around them to boost their strength, which is the main reason she is so powerful. Kinji goes drinking to vent his frustrations with this world, and once he clears his mind, he returns to Shia's apartment to come up with a new plan. Since the dungeon changed, the ants that work for him went into hiding, so he is annoyed that he cannot use them again. His planning gets interrupted by Rim and Ranga playing with the gun he brought back from the future. Yelling at them, he reprimands them for playing with his weapon, even though it stopped working after he brought it into the past. While he's trying to lecture them, Rim bites down onto the gun. This transfers some magic energy into the gun, allowing it to activate. The gun speaks in a feminine but robotic voice, and thanks to Kinji successfully guessing the password, it binds itself to him, explaining that its purpose is to protect the life of its user at all cost. Excited with the fact that he has a strong weapon now, he brings everyone into the dungeon to see how far they can get, laying out the plan to overtake the company's exploration team. While they are planning their next step, a bunch of monsters attack them. Kinji wants to put his gun to the test, so he takes them on by himself. The gun is more than capable of easily dispatching any monsters that come his way. Unfortunately, the gun quickly runs out of magic energy, and as Kinji was still in danger, the gun activates an emergency protocol. It begins absorbing magic from anything nearby, such as the democite and even their clothes. Kinji tries to make the gun stop, throwing it away, but the gun attaches itself to him, revealing that it has a very clingy and desperate personality. The gun does not allow Kinji to use any other weapons, declaring that it is the only weapon he will ever need. Kinji is infuriated with the gun, telling it that he will sell it as soon as he is out of the dungeon. The gun is desperate to stay with Kinji, starting a self-destruction countdown that will take out both of them together. Seeing how desperate the gun behaves, Kinji decides to oblige, promising to find a good use for it. This calms the gun down, stopping the self-destruct. Some of the company exploration team members who know Kinji from before have been dragged into the mess due to the gun's emergency protocol. Deciding to follow Kinji, they all head deeper into the dungeon with barely any clothes left on them. They stumble upon a seemingly abandoned company outpost. Surprised by its decrepit state, one of the exploration team members tells them a ghost story about this place. Suddenly, they are assaulted by a bunch of former company employees who all behave like zombies. Hey, thank you for staying all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. It takes only a second, but it means everything to us. Have a great day and see you in the next video.